So apparently there's people who didn't like the FNAF movie, which I find surprising. Of course, for anyone who wants to know what happened, I will give a quick summary. And it is not going to be quick because I finished writing the script and it is pretty much the entire video. So whatever. So at the beginning of the movie, we see a security guard running away and panicking. Spoilers, by the way, for anyone who still doesn't realize I'm summarizing the movie. Anyway, he gets trapped in the hallway and the doors pretty much lock themselves to trap him in that hallway. Then Foxy appears and, as you can guess, kills him. So the real story begins with Mike Schmidt. He works as a mall security guard when he sees the child getting snatched by a man, and it triggers old memories. He chases them down and beats the guy up, just to find out that the guy was actually the child's dad. Oops. So of course Mike loses his job and needs to find another one, and he visits a career counselor named Steve Raglan? I don't know, I forgot. Steve says there are no jobs left for someone like him because he's kind of a mess. But then something suspicious happens when Steve recognizes the name of Mike Schmidt. And suddenly he has a job offer. And as you can guess, his job is to watch over the Freddy Fazbear establishment, well, restaurant, whatever. So that's what he does. Everything seems to go smoothly and he runs into this disgusting thing, but luckily it's just a toy. I think. Now I don't entirely remember the whole order of events, so forgive me if I mess up a little, but I'm pretty sure Mike goes back home after a successful day, and you can see that he has to watch over his sister. I thought she was going to be annoying, but I actually didn't hate her, so there's that. Anyway, there's a custody battle and you find out that their Aunt Jane is upset and wants custody over his sister, but he refuses to give her up. Also, apparently Mike takes sleeping pills and stares at a picture of a forest to imagine himself back years in the past when he was with his family at some park when his brother got snatched. And he blames himself. So Mike goes to his job once more and starts sleeping on the job. And I started to realize, oh, so this is why you keep getting fired. The only reason he took this job was so he wouldn't lose custody of his sister, but you still could at least keep your eyes open. Well, anyway, he dreams about his kidnapped brother and seems to always have the same dream. There are more events, but I'm kind of just going over them to the important plot points. So anyway, he meets the security guard and her name is Vanessa and she is actually really nice. They build up a nice friendship. Later in the movie, Jane plots to ruin Mike's job so she can get custody, and you find out that the babysitter, named Maxine, that watched over Mike's sister Abby while he worked was actually a spy planted by Jane to try and find something incriminating on him. Well, that didn't work, obviously, so now she sends her and some other guys to destroy his place of work and maybe get him fired. Well, Mike goes back to work once again, sleeping on the job, and dreams the same dream. Except now he's starting to dream about 5 little kids. And he tries to chase them down and ask them who took his brother, but they just run away and it doesn't go so well. He leaves and talks to Vanessa and he forgets to lock the door, which the bad people used to break in. But then, as you can guess, it doesn't go so well because they start destroying things when this guy finds a mysterious cupcake in the fridge. But then it disappears, so he looks around for it, and when he sees that Chica's standing behind him while holding the cupcake before it leaps at him. So, yeah. Before the main leader guy could destroy the monitors, he sees people freaking out and he's confused. And the old man with them hides in a janitorial closet, but guess who's there? Bonnie. So yeah, he's dead. The main guy finds the bloody scene of the old man and tries to run away. And then he gets trapped in the same hallway the security guard died in. And as you can guess, Foxy shows up and boom, dead. So then we see that Maxine is waiting in the car when she decides to go look for them. She can't find them, but she sees a child running around that says to follow him. Very suspicious. So that's what she does, and it leads her to Freddy standing in some room with his mouth open. She decides to look for the weird kid inside, and then it pulls her in and chops her in half. Yeah, very gruesome. So everything's good again until Vanessa pulls up to Mike and threatens to fire him for not paying attention to his job, which led to the place getting destroyed. And she also found his sleeping pills. He pleads with her because he needs his job to keep custody over his sister, and then he explains what the pills are for and that he was purposefully going back to the same dream so he can figure out who took his brother. She understands the dilemma and decides to show him some compassion and not turn him in, but she tells him not to use the pills again and pay attention. But then a new problem arises. Mike's babysitter is missing and he needs someone to watch Abby, so he decides to take her to work and builds her a little fort to sleep in. But then he sits at his desk and takes sleeping pills. Again. Wally should be watching the establishment and his sister. Really? But then Abby sees ghost children and decides to follow them, because why not? Meanwhile, Mike in his dream is interrogating the ghost children and wants to know what happened to his brother and if they know anything. They just run away, of course, and he chases the Foxy kid and the kid slashes his arm. So Mike wakes up and he hears screaming and realizes, oh wait, Abby is missing. Then he runs to find her playing with the animatronics. They were tickling her, apparently. Mike is shocked that the robots are alive and doesn't believe it. And then she also explains that they love when she draws them pictures. He, of course, doesn't trust these robots and takes her away and leaves. Again, I'm unsure of the order of events, but at some point he runs into Vanessa, and she sees the slash on his arm. So it seems the dream might have been real. He takes Abby back to work the next day, and Vanessa shows up as well. Apparently, she knows the animatronics were alive the whole time, and they decide to build a fort together and have a fun time. Maybe these menacing robots are actually just wholesome children spirits after all, but maybe not. Vanessa goes to get blankets for the fort and Mike goes with her, and he wants to know why she knows all this. And she gives more details about the 5 spirit children and that they were murdered by a man named William Afton and stuffed in the suits where they wouldn't be found. Then they come back to find Abby going to Bonnie's guitar when it short circuits and electrocutes her. Luckily she's fine, but Vanessa warns him not to bring her back there again. So now Mike needs a new babysitter because now he can't bring Abby to the restaurant, so there's that. And he decides to have Jane watch Abby. But Abby hates Aunt Jane because she's mean, and so Abby gets mad. She wants to be with the robots again. I think I skipped some details, but whatever. Watch the movie yourself if you want to know the whole thing, because I'm not about to explain it all because I don't remember. Mike goes back to work and everything is normal. He goes to sleep and dreams about the ghost children again, and they're mad that he took Abby away from them, and the blonde boy convinces him to give Abby to them because she would be happier with them. He ends up agreeing, and at some point they attack him. Meanwhile, Golden Freddy shows up at Abby's house and knocks out Aunt Jane. Or maybe kills her. No one knows. And then the blonde boy convinces Abby to go with him to the restaurant, and she does this by taking a cab that's driven by Corey Kenshin. Mike wakes up and the animatronics are trying to attack him, and they send a cupcake through the vents and he blocks it off so it can't get through. He tries to run away, but then gets trapped in the Foxy hallway where he's attacked, and then later he wakes up and Vanessa has patched him up. He demands to know more, and she finally tells him how she knows so much, and that her father's William Afton. He then realizes the robots are coming for Abby, and Vanessa explains that they're trying to turn her into one of them, so she stays with them. She also explains that the animatronics are not evil and they're just manipulated by Springtrap into doing his will. He wants to save her, but Vanessa stops him and makes sure he brings tasers and cattle prods and explains that electricity temporarily immobilizes them. Vanessa is too afraid to help him, so he goes by himself and sees Chica leading Abby backstage. He hides and thinks about what to do, and then he throws some container of water onto Bonnie and Freddy before firing the taser into the water and electrocuting them both. Smart. Meanwhile, Chica leads Abby to some weird clown robot who kind of looks like the poster from FNAF 6 or Circus Baby. Chica tries to then shove Abby into the suit and spring lock her, but Mike shows up and electrocutes Chica. They try to run away, but the cupcake attacks Mike's toes and stops him. So he sends Abby to run away on her own, but she gets chased by Foxy, so she tries to hide in the ball pit. Foxy gets real close, but luckily Vanessa finally stepped up and electrocutes Foxy and saves Abby. While Mike is getting attacked, he shoves a cattle prod inside the cupcake's mouth and shuts it down, and then he tries to make his way out, but then runs into Springtrap. Springtrap attacks Mike, and Mike uses his taser to attack him, but they don't work. He gets beat up, and then Abby shows up for some reason and tries to support Mike. And then we get to see that Springtrap was actually Steve the whole time. And he also reveals that he's the one who killed Mike's brother, which is why he recognized the name. Vanessa tries to stop William and threatens to shoot him, but William Afton, aka Steve, doesn't believe her, and he gets closer. Then she shoots him, but that didn't stop him, and he attacks and stabs her. William Afton also summons the rest of the animatronics to attack them, but Mike gets the grand idea to draw them a picture and show them the truth. He tells Abby and she does her doodling, while Mike gets beat up, and Abby is able to put her drawing over the fake one, and the fake one is a picture of Springtrap being friends with the robots. Abby drew a picture showing that he's the one who killed them. The robots get angry and turned on William Afton, and he panics, but they destroy his suit and trigger the spring locks, and he starts bleeding out as it stabs into him, and he puts the head of the suit on himself and promises to come back. And then the robots drag him away as the place starts to collapse, and Mike grabs Vanessa and Abby and they escape. After the whole ordeal is over, Mike and Abby live happily together, but sadly Vanessa is in a coma in the hospital. They visit her and go back home and everything is nice, and Abby feels bad for the robots and wishes she could help them find peace. Mike agrees. The movie's pretty much over until the scene after the credits when you see Corey Kenshin sleeping in his cab, and he tells the person knocking on the door to go away while he sleeps. But the person gets in anyway. He's annoyed and looks up to see That's the end. The biggest mystery is whether Jane is alive or dead. I like this movie and I'm surprised that there are other people who didn't. Someone said that there's too many jump scares, but isn't that literally like one of the main themes of FNAF? Either way, I had a good time and loved the movie. And having fun is the most important part of a movie, I think. It's a simple premise and I think some people just overthink it. Although I'm surprised the puppet wasn't in this movie because I'm pretty sure her story plays a big role in the first game. Lore-wise, not really in the gameplay. Anyway, I loved the movie and the cameos, and out of all the animatronics, I'd say the most disgusting creature is Balloon Boy. Please, kill it with fire.